Thank you for giving me this opportunity, and it's a privilege and honor to talk before you. I listened to the research work that is going on at the university, and I'm happy to find that students are working in the really most vulnerable spots inside country, and they're being supported by the faculty members. I'm sure you can see my presentation. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Visible, sir.
Okay. So Bangladesh is right now developing the National Adaptation Plan. It's called NAP. This is a global requirement. It was decided back in 2010 in Cancun that all the countries of the world would prepare their national adaptation plan because it is easy to have a global standard on mitigation. The target has been fixed well below 2 degrees in 2015 through Paris Agreement. Just a few days back when Joe Biden invited 40 heads of governments, he pushed for 1.5 degrees. So the global target on mitigation is there, but there is no global target or global standard on adaptation. Why? Every country would have to have their own standard. As for example, on sea level rise, certain low elevation country like Kiribati, Marshall Island, Tuvalu would possibly go underwater in another 30, 40 years' time. Maldives maybe need 100 years or 100 plus years. So for them, adaptation takes one dimension. For Bangladesh, we have 1/4 of the country, which is part of the low-lying deltaic area that could be underwater. And Bangladesh is kind of very much prepared for sea level rise because we have 5-meter high dike covering the entire coastal corridor. So this NAP document, which Bangladesh is currently preparing, is a national document, but this would meet one of our global commitments. Bangladesh is also currently preparing their NDC document, which is nationally determined contribution. This is a 5-year, this is prepared in a 5-year cycle. We first submitted the NDC document in 2015. It was due on in December 2020, and we did submit a preliminary report in 2020. We will need another 3-4 months to finalize this document. And here, our Prime Minister has given a very clear-cut directive to the team that is preparing this document. And the third major activity that is going on at the national level is on capacity building. And we call it, this capacity building, this time it should be integrated, the capacity of the person should be built. It is not purely lecture session. It will, the methodology that would be proposed that the trainees or the trained person really understands climate change and they can act and work on it. So we call it transformative capacity building. I can jokingly say that I have taken lunch or dinner free of cost at Sonargaon or Sheraton at least 25, 30 times, 40 times, 50 times over the last 10 years to participate in the various training program. But what has been the impact of the training? The trainees come, attend some lectures, go back home. So the training or capacity building has not been effective. It is, we feel it because Bangladesh is not in a position to, or has not collected the fund from the global level. So these are the 3 major activities at the national level that are going on. And at the operational level, lots of projects are going on at the climate change. Incidentally, I am the team leader of the NAP document, the adaptation strategy for Bangladesh. I'm also deeply involved in the mitigation document, the global target, and also the transformative capacity building. So with the short time that is available, I will try to share my experience on these three aspects. The focus of my presentation would be what Bangladesh is doing for adaptation at the local level. The bottom line, I would like to say that on adaptation, we have to think globally, push the whole thing globally through transformative capacity building, through technology transfer, and organizing huge amount of fund that you would need. I can easily develop projects demanding at least 50, 60 billion dollars immediately. So we have to push things at the global level, and we say the mitigation is the best form of adaptation. And as the whole world is fixing up 1.5 degree, I hope and pray that this target would be achieved and the temperature would be limited to 1.5. But I do not foresee, based on the literature that I have gone through, that it is going to stop at 1.5. Very likely it would rise to 3 degree or 3.5 degrees Celsius. That's the bad news. I think Abir said this appears to be a very small change in temperature, which is true. But already we have 1 degree or 1.2 degree increase in average temperature in Bangladesh, and that is already causing major impacts on it. So we have to think globally, but act locally. That's the principle. For Bangladesh, we have to act locally and regionally. And that regional collaboration on adaptation is a big issue because climate change is a big change in hydrological cycle, big change in water regime, water availability. And 92% of the water that flows through Bangladesh comes from our friendly neighbors. So we need collaboration and cooperation with our friend or the friendly neighbor. And if you study the record of discussion, whenever Bangladesh Prime Minister and Indian Prime Minister meet, there has been 6 or 7 meetings over the last 10 years. You will see the record of discussion would have at least 2 paragraphs on cooperation in climate change. So having said that, the title of the presentation as given by the university authorities, I'm following it due diligently. So my first point is climate change is real. There is no doubt about it. But the bad news is a stable situation is not likely to be achieved soon. And therefore, we should push for adaptation very urgently. And the scientifically, this was proven only in 2007 and reconfirmed in 2014. And science is very clear. The world needs to work on it collectively. As of today, the world is concerned about one issue, which is food security. Please note, the goal of UNFCCC signed in 1992 or finalized in 92 had 3 goals, which were control the temperature so that the ecosystem is able to adjust. Present thinking is, sorry, it is not going to happen. Number 2, world's food security is not threatened. And number 3, the process of sustainable development is not challenged. In Paris in 2015, the latest legal process on which we are working, and the Paris Agreement is going to be a legally binding document. Each provision, though all countries of the world are sovereign, they all agreed in 2015. I was physically present there and I started thinking since then how it is going to be implemented. And Paris Agreement has only one goal. Please note it correctly. Food security. Ensure food security. If you have food, you have everything. And please note, at least 500,000 children would die within the next 3, 4, 5 months in Ethiopia, Kenya, Uganda, South Sudan. Food security is already a big issue. Is it a big issue in Bangladesh? It is a big issue. In 2017 and 2020, a country that used to export food has become a food importing country. The unusual behavior of climatic parameters have resulted into big loss in the food grain production. The whole world is worried. Why? Food shortage to start with, for which they have formulated the legal process. And the new issue that is coming up is migration or displacement. It is only about 100 days back when USA recognized displacement as a major issue and livelihood security. And people, when you have gone to Gabura, people are migrating. And the main reason is livelihood issue. And main impact is increase in intensity and frequency of natural disaster, loss of biodiversity and ecosystem, and health security. I'm sure you have observed in Gabura, the level of hypertension both among men and women, or adult men and women, is very high. Women are suffering from problem at the time of delivery. Eclampsia is very common, and it is also reported by the local doctors that the women are losing their fertility. Women are not conceiving babies, and that's a big issue over there. These are the data that we have already collected as we are developing the NAB document. Having said that, what are the vulnerabilities for Bangladesh? Now, Bangladesh, I jokingly say, is nature's laboratory for natural disaster. We have all the natural disasters excepting volcanic eruption. We have earthquake, and volcanic eruption and earthquake are not related to climate change, but volcanic eruption has an indirect effect of climate change. That's a different thing. So we have erratic rainfall, untimely rainfall. It rained as if it is the peak of monsoon or month of Ashar in 2017, where it rained in the month of Chaitra. So in April, it rained as if it is July. Short duration, heavy rainfall, and that is going to be a big issue because the urban areas in Bangladesh are not ready for drainage congestion. Last year in Rangpur, there was 450 millimeters of rainfall in one day. In Dhaka, if you have 450 millimeters of rainfall, I don't know, 80% of Dhaka city would go underwater. Only the BUP would be above water because you are located in the highest part of Dhaka city. Rest of Dhaka, especially Prime Minister's office, would go underwater. So you can, the Secretariat would be underwater. And think of what could happen. There will be flood. Last year we had 4 floods, and drought-like phenomenon is happening right today. And you must have seen in newspapers that people are leading a special prayer for rainfall. So for last 4 months, there has not been any rain, excepting some sporadic local rainfall in last 5-7 days. Cyclones and tornadoes, and you have seen the impact in Gabura area, sea level rise. And this is a big issue. I will describe this a little bit. Salinity, tidal surges, riverbank erosion, coastal erosion, lightning, health impact, and impact on flowering pattern. The flowering pattern is the major impact on ecosystem, and that leads to food security. So the vulnerability is Bangladesh is a low-lying deltaic country. Under Article 4.8, the countries that can get special favor for climate change from the world, it has 7-8 conditions. And Bangladesh fulfills all conditions excepting one, which is that the low-lying deltaic part is not an independent sovereign state. Our islands have more people, the population is higher than most vulnerable countries of the world. And flood is intensity and frequency is increasing. Entire coastal belt is vulnerable to cyclone, starting from Teknaf to Satkhira. It can hit anywhere, but in general, the central part of the coastal belt is mostly affected. and the riverbank erosion is, the rate is increased, and riverbank erosion is a serious problem because the people have to move out as a result of riverbank erosion. And you see some of the photographs of disaster that I have collected over the years. And you see, this is this shopping in West Deep Water or Knee Deep Water is a picture taken from Chittagong. On the lower part is people are migrating from Gabura, and people are in search of safety or safe drinking water. And on this one is the picture of the drought in Nauga, and this is the flooding area in the central part of Bangladesh. And this is the condition of sea level rise. This is a projection in 100 years' time. If the temperature goes up and the sea level rises to the tune of 1.5 or 1 meter, then this present coastline would be changed, and this one would be the new coastline. It's very simple. Think of an imaginary line starting from Jasod to Gopalganj, and from Gopalganj to Chandpur, and Chandpur to Feni. So the lower part, the southern part, would become part of the sea. And you draw a line from Rajshahi to Shirazganj, Shirazganj to Ashuganj or Bhairab Bazar. So this intervening section would be brackish. All around Dhaka city would be brackish water. Dhaka is a very high ground, so Dhaka city would not go underwater. But luckily, we are protected with dike system. So this is the current condition. You can see this is Urir Chor, and this is Boyar Chor, and this is Nijum Deep, and this is Dhal Chor. And this, they would go underwater in high tide. And we have these marshy lands, Shariatpur, Madaripur, Gopalganj, Borishal, Pirozpur, and Jhalokati. These are low-lying area. They go underwater or they're inundated in the monsoon months. So as the projection says, when it will be about 1 meter, the sea level would go like this, and Gopalganj, Shariatpur, Madaripur, Borishal, Pirozpur, and Jhalokati are more vulnerable to sea level rise than Potuakhali, Bhola, Borishal, maybe Bagherhat, Noakhali, and Lokhipur, and Chittagong, and Cox's Bazar, and Shondip, and Hatia, and Bhola, because these areas are protected against a dike having a height of 5 meters. But these areas, the protected areas, are vulnerable to storm surge because it is no longer 4 or 5 meters that used to happen previously. You have seen the impact of Aila and impact of Amphan, that the storm surge height of Cedar could be higher. So Bangladesh is in the process of increasing the height of the dikes from 5 meters to 6.5 meters, which is about 20 feet. And the salinity level, as I said, is going to go up. But the other impact of climate change, the vulnerability, is changing season. Summer has become elongated or longer. The rainy season is coming at a later date instead of June and July, and from 15th June to 15th August, which was the traditional rainy season. It is pushed to September and October, and which is bad for the almond crop. And we are also observing some of the rainfall occurring in the month of April and May, which is bad for the Boro crop. The autumn has shifted and has become shorter, and the Hemanto, the late autumn, is no longer visible. It is already, this is the perception of the farmers. Winter has become short but sharp, and spring has vanished. So a 6-season country where the cropping system was function of 6 systems, they had the definite date of planting and harvesting. This is being disturbed. The farmers are adapting to new cropping system. This year, the farmers in Sunamganj and Northeast Bangladesh have adapted short duration varieties of rice, and therefore they're safe. Also, there is a drought-like condition. Otherwise, by this time, we would have at least 1 or 2 flash flood. And the main problem is, as I said, food security is related to food grain production, And this is a function of the phenology or flowering pattern. And you see Kodam, which blooms in July, bloomed in November. This is a picture taken from Baridhara DOHS. And this is that you see the previous one bloomed in November. This is in December, totally wrong time. And this particular flower, which blooms in August and September, has bloomed in April and May. Now, which indicates the flowering pattern has changed, and flowering pattern change means the pollinators are not there. So it's the pollination problem. The whole world is researching on pollination process because food security is their main threat. And the combination of all these adverse impacts says that the southwestern part of Bangladesh is the most vulnerable one, and the most vulnerable districts are Satkhira, Khulna, Bagherhat, and Borguna, supported by, or we can add Nauga to it because there will be serious drought problem here. And the next level is Noakhali and Lakhipur and Cox's Bazar. And then you can add to that Panchagor and Dinajpur, Nawabganj, Chapai Nawabganj, and Nator, Shirazganj, Pabna, and Kushtia, and Jasor, and Kumilla, and Feni. So these are the districts that would suffer most. So Bangladesh is a small country, but we have to pay attention to lots of localized issues. Bangladesh is preparing for climate change right from the initial days from 1992 onwards. We have a Bangladesh Climate Change Strategy and Action Plan finalized in 2009. It is a gazetted, approved by the cabinet. It is being updated now. Anytime it would be, the second version would be there. And we are preparing we have prepared the NAPA in 2005 and 2009. I happen to be team leader of both the documents. Then the National Adaptation Plan, we are working on that, and in an inclusive manner. So to find out the local level understanding of the problem and local level issues, we are holding extensive consultation at the district level and union level. And as we said, we have done the NDC and transformative capacity building. And all major national documents have considered climate change as the major factor, and the Delta Plan of 2100, targeted for 2100, the trigger for this document or this plan is climate change. So having said that, in Bangladesh Climate Change Strategy and Action Plan, our nationally developed, this is the first document in the world. So we are the pioneer to develop the National Adaptation Plan. Therefore, the development of the National Adaptation Plan has become rather easy. This was completed in 2008 and updated in 2009. It focuses on 6 areas. Food security is our top priority, and health security along with it. Comprehensive disaster management is the next issue. We need to improve on our cyclone warning and flood warning. These are given in a highly scientific knowledge, and cyclone warning is given in a stupid language. Sorry for using this word. I have been fighting on this since the Honorable Minister is listening to me. I'm trying to address to him. Please pay attention to the language by which the cyclone forecast and flood forecast are issued. I have recently completed 2 studies on what is people's comprehension on the warning that is issued in Bangladesh. This is only understood by experts, but the people have formulated their own understanding of this warning, which is not the actual meaning that is to be conveyed by the people who have formulated the warning. But otherwise, the warning level on scientific basis is very high, and the warning dissemination mechanism is very high, and the local communities are involved. And now the government, under the National Disaster Act 2012, are formulating local level committees at the districts and unions. Similarly, the water ministry is also forming Pani committee or water management committee at the district and upazilas and unions. So the involvement of the local community in disaster management or water related disaster management or other natural disasters, the framework has just been implemented. So we need to evaluate that. We need to push for infrastructure, research, and support mitigation. But capacity building is very important. The institutional capacity we need to build. All our ministries work as islands. They are towers, ivory towers, not connected with each other. So the interministerial conflict is very high. So I talked about the 6. So the program on disaster management, Bangladesh's experience with all disaster excepting volcano, earthquake though not linked with climate change, but we have good program on earthquake. We have maybe 50 to 80,000 urban volunteers. We have the postal volunteers, about 80,000 CPP workers. And the beauty of Bangladesh is we have a full-fledged ministry on disaster management, appropriate law, and a standing order on disaster. On flood, we have the structural options. We go for dikes. We have good forecasting system. We have to manage huge sediment load. We had, as I said, 5-meter high dike. Now we are raising it to 6.5 or 20 feet. So this is one reach where it is being reconstructed. We are constructing sluices, and these are submersible dike in the Haur areas. If it can protect the crops by middle of May, that is good enough. We are pushing for dredging, and flood forecasting is, as I said, quite good, but the language in which these forecasts are issued, we need to visit that. We need to make this forecast understood by the local community in the right dimension. And we have our own experience of fighting with floods and cyclones and disaster. We have a network of cyclone shelter, but we need to double it because it is not adequate. And we need to provide support to cattle. And for that, the government has very rightly selected a technology of developing killa or raised ground. This was practiced since 1972. Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujib initiated this construction of killas or raised ground, and they are popularly known as Mujib Killa. And this name was given by the local community. When I was working on the finalization of the network of cyclone shelter in 1983-84, I first came to know about this nomenclature from Kutubdia. The people said this Mujib Killa saved us. Now this terminology has been adopted by the government. And they are constructing lots of killer. On drought, we are a country which is protected against drought through irrigation. This year we saw huge obstruction of groundwater. So droughts are managed, but for the other 20% and for sustainability, possibly we need to go for regional cooperation. Cropping system is closely linked with normal weather pattern. And this year, new cultivars that are being developed that are flood, drought, and salinity tolerant are being adopted. Riverbank erosion, we have not done as of today regular measures again or undertaken regular measures against riverbank protection. This year in 2021, the first effort would be launched by World Bank and IWT, Shipping Ministry and Water Board. They would go for construction of concrete blocks or geotextile sand fill bags, and possibly they would go for groins and impervious or pervious aquifers. Oh, sorry, shall I say groins. Now this is the situation. You see the 4 dots. So this 1 degree, it has happened already. 6 degree, it may happen unless the world acts cleverly. And 2 degree is the target fixed by Paris Agreement. And it may happen occur up to 4 degree or 3 degree despite all our efforts. If the temperature crosses 2 degree, there would be serious havoc on food grain production. So this is 1, 2, 4, 6. 1 degree has happened. 2 degrees is the pious hope of the whole world. It is now 1.5 degree only 2-3 weeks back. when Joe Biden promised that they will control it to 1.5 degree. But my understanding it may not be 6 degree, but it will definitely be 3 degree. The report, the global assessment on this would be published next year. It's called Global Stock Taking. And so what we expect from the globe, we expect the world to reduce greenhouse gas as per the expert projection, keep it within 1.5 degree, but support adaptation process for which we need fund, technology, and build capacity. Bangladesh must prepare for adaptation to climate vulnerability. The huge population, if we have to ensure their food security and livelihood security and stop their migration, we need to push for adaptation at a higher level. As a technical person, we know what can be done for flood, drought, urban drainage, riverbank erosion, storm surge, and cyclone, but we do not know as of today. The science is not clear. How can we handle sea level rise and salinity increase? Unless we can control the salinity increase, migration would, the rate would be higher. So we need to access global support on finance, capacity building, and technology. We need to act regionally and nationally, but we need to think globally, and we need to involve local communities in disaster management, a process which the government has already adapted, but we need to build their capacity for this purpose also. Thank you very much for your kind patience, and possibly I've taken a few additional minutes. Thank you very much.